In Florida, the big topic of the day is merit pay and teacher tenure. Tenure's on the way out, and stepped up emphasis on test scores is where the emphasis is. You feel this is a danger?
What's happened in the legislature this year is very damaging to kids in Florida. It is ideology that's based upon pure political partisanship rather than looking at what works for kids. What's happened is, rather than doing the reforms, building on the reforms that had made Florida the 5th best school system in the nation, they have defunded the system, not had the kind of work that needs to be done to create real good evaluations.
You say political partisanship seems to be driving this. Don't you believe that the governor and the Republicans who are running Tallahassee want the best for kids in an educational setting?
Well, if you actually don't ask the teachers what they think about the bills that you are passing, and you base this on ideology rather than talking to the people that you think are really important, then that's political partisanship.
But in Washington, Democrats, President Obama and Education Secretary Arne Duncan, they voiced their support for merit pay as well.
Well, this is not actually about the issue of how to compensate teachers or how to evaluate teachers. What I'm talking about is what the legislature did in Florida was to actually silence teachers' voice.
Florida's legislature also passed legislation that would make it easier to expand the numbers of charter schools.
There's lots of evidence over the last 20 years. 2 new studies, one from Stanford University, that basically says that 83% of the charter schools in this country do either the same or worse than their public school counterparts. So if there is an expansion of charter schools, it has to be based upon the same accountability standards as the public schools, and it can't be divesting the public schools of any resources it needs to help kids.
There are other alternatives, other initiatives afoot in Tallahassee. There is a push for virtual schools and vouchers for all.
What's so frustrating is that a school like Fern Creek, which teaches a wide variety of kids, 20% of whom are homeless, and does so with great teachers, with lower class sizes, with good discipline. Instead of trying to replicate that model, which is a model that says we are going to help every single child in our community, instead of doing that, there's just attempts to just pull money away from the public school system.
And virtual schooling?
Kids need relationships with and amongst each other and with their teachers. And I worry when we have kids who are so focused on their own, technology, if they become more and more anonymous in schools all by themselves or just based upon a computer. How do we actually help them be prepared for life?